Hello, winners. I'm here with my dear friend, Steve Bakunas. How cool is that? He is affectionately referred to as the can-do man because he is a man who can do anything, and he knows it, and he's going to tell you about it today. So we're going to start with Belle to reconnect. My trademark on it yet, but look at this. Little baby win matches. There are winners listening in and watching, but we're just going to be us.
Yeah.
So how are you?
I'm good. I'm in another new chapter of my life here in Costa Rica. Hello, everybody. So I'm from Milford, Connecticut, one of 9 kids, 7 sisters, 1 brother. Pretty standard childhood until my father died when I was 13. And at that point, the world opened up to me. I think I was just an obedient kid. I had some fear of my father, so I was just obedient. But once he died, I saw that there was a lot of room for me to maneuver, and I started maneuvering. I started doing drugs, started drinking, got arrested a lot, and I knew I had to go. So when I was 16, legally I could quit school. I ended up hitchhiking to California because I had a sister there, and she lived in San Francisco, and this was in the mid-70s.
Oh, wow, flower power and all that stuff, right?
So she introduced me to Bergman and Fellini and spiritual healings, and I was a TV kid. I didn't read books. My ambition as a kid was to be a dump truck driver because my brother-in-law had a construction company. So that was the scope of my culture. And she just broadened my world in such a way that I saw many possibilities, not really identifying with one in particular, but I saw that there were possibilities, and I just started venturing out, and it just went on from there.
I mean, you didn't realize that there was this whole other world out there with all, awaiting you until, you had tragedy. I mean, your father died, you're I think 14 when he died, right? And then 16 when you moved out, right? So you had 2 years to really mess up things and then decide to take the bull by the horns, so to speak. And I mean, that was at a very young age, you took control of your life and you came across the country. I mean, that's an amazing experience. It just strikes me that you took control. You realized that you could do something.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know when people say it was courageous of you at such a young age to, hitchhike cross country with no money. And I didn't know it was going to take as long. I didn't know it was going to be as hard as it was. But I knew just from the experience of being where I was that there wasn't anything there for me. I was an obedient kid. And like I say, I had questions as a kid, but I thought, well, this is the world. This is what everybody thinks and does. And when I ventured out, it just opened up. And I think I guess I was born with it, but that spirit of like, okay, I'm going to go for this. And there was courage that I wasn't as aware of. I just put myself in situations and I had a lot of hope. I wanted to believe that somehow I would make it and somehow I would find it. And it just became about knocking on a lot of doors. I think I had 80 jobs. And that's where the can-do spirit came. Once I started working for people and doing different things, I thought, oh, wow, this is easy. I could do this. The problem was I wouldn't want to do it for the rest of my life. Yeah, I could do this. So a guy would teach me how to make tables. It's like, okay. And after 2 weeks, it's like, this is all we're doing? I need more. And then it just became about, and after a while I thought, okay, I think I could do anything once I learn what the components are and how to apply them. But I still never found anything that really resonated in my heart to such a degree that I would commit myself to that one thing.
Yeah. But you did, I mean, I know you got married once and then when you were very young, and then later you found Linda, you committed to her, committed to building life together. So, and you guys have had like the space to continue that exploration of what it is that your spirit calls for in terms of what you want to do, what you want to create, what you want to produce. A couple of things really strike me. It was this whole sense of, you said you just jumped in, you didn't even know what it was going to take, but then like mighty forces came to you because you dared to do what you thought you wanted to do or had to do what you felt in your heart. Am I depicting that?
I would say I was met, along the way with good people who gave me nuggets of information or inspiration that made me feel like, okay, yeah, you're on the right path.
Yeah.
I mean, believe me, it was depressing. It was sad. I was hungry for a lot of years.
Yeah.
And confused, but there was still that somehow I had some inner hope.
Yeah.
And I mean, at 21, I ended up in a religious cult after I would travel with a circus for a year and a half before that. And then I ended up in a cult. And it was like, God brought you here and God has a plan for you. It's like, thank God, I needed some direction. And then 5 years, I committed my life. I got married. I did all the things that were required of me. And then, after 5 years, I had an epiphany that this wasn't the place to be.
So something changed.
So,
What was the epiphany? How did that come about?
I got high.
Oh, for the first time?
I didn't. No, I got high a lot before that. And then,
yeah.
I saw things for the first time. My mind is very constant, active, analytical, and in the world that I'm in, I just would go along. And then, when I got high, I was like, wow, where am I? And then, within 2 years, because it was right after my dad died, I started doing drugs. And then I thought, wow, I don't like who I am, where I am, what I've become, and I know I have to go. Yeah, I look, yeah. I mean, for me, maybe if I went to a doctor, he'd say, Steve, you have ADD, take some Ritalin, take some whatever to help you focus. Slow down your mind, focus.
Yeah, what would be kind of that for you?
Yeah.
You were,
so I self-medicated.
Right. So tell our winners about your life right now, because I think it's so amazing that and the point that I met you, I mean, you were bartending, you were acting, you were doing all kinds of things. You were definitely the can-do man. I mean, you were building sets, you were in Medea. I mean, you were on the stage, you were doing all these amazing things. And then, I mean, your world just even exploded beyond that. And so talk to the viewers about like your life now.
Okay. Well, how I segued into my life now was at 41, I was in Los Angeles, wanted to be a movie star. And I thought, wow, I have no life. I mean, I've been on the road for so long that, and I'd go anywhere, do anything. I thought, people don't know me. And that was the sad thing, is that people didn't know me. I mean, I had many acquaintances really, but no one really knew who I was. So I couldn't have that real deep connected relationship. And I thought, I think I want that. And I think I want to give up the idea of being famous and great and all of that, because I thought maybe I'm better in my mind than I am in reality. So I accepted that and I moved to Wilmington, North Carolina from LA, and started a life. Made some cards, said can do. Got a job remodeling a home on the beach. I got cast in a play, found an apartment downtown. I thought, great life. 3 months later, I meet my wife, Linda Lavin, famous TV icon.
Yes, she is. Alice. For those that don't know, for those winners that don't know, watch Alice's. It's called Alice, and it was she was in a restaurant with Mel, and that was a really progressive show at the time because women were not even cast as moms, and she was a single mom. She was raising a son on her own, and she was a bold woman.
They addressed all the issues. Fascinating.
Yeah,
for 9 years. For 9 years. Yeah.
Right. So that's who Steve married. So they met, they fell in love, they got married, and then you guys collaborated a lot, but yet still did
to New York City, because she was doing a Broadway play, and she just introduced me to a whole new world, and she was amazed. When I moved up to New York, I ended up plastering all her walls, repainting her apartment, reupholstering all her furniture, fixing everything. She's like, I can't believe, because she'd get estimates, and I'm like, what? You're not going to pay that for that. It's like, look, I'll fix it.
Yeah,
and
I got an estimate.
Then I became her can-do man, and basically I continued to do the things I had done with that same MO, but now I had more opportunities, and more, better tools.
Yeah. Well, what I think is amazing is that, so you thought you wanted to go after a certain thing, you wanted this fame and a certain lifestyle, and then you're like, you know what, I don't really need it. I'm just going to do my thing. You found your way to Wilmington, which is what an amazing place. and, you know, you really started your own, you just said, okay, that's it. I'm not going to pursue something. I'm going to live life. Is that correct? So how did you end up down in Costa Rica? You guys were on a cruise, you and Linda?
We were on a cruise ship. You know, I became a jazz drummer because Linda had developed this cabaret show.
And why not? Because you can do anything, right?
I think I could do this. So I took lessons from a guy for 3 months, and, you know, as an actor, you memorize. So I looked at other drummers, and they're playing the same thing for the same song. So I thought, okay, I think I could do that. And I did. And I became a drummer for 15 years. So we were on a cruise ship in Ecuador, and our stepkids, two kids from her previous marriage, one son moved to Costa Rica, started school with his wife. And so when we were in the area, they came to visit. And he's got 2 adopted boys from China, an adopted girl, and then 2 sons. So she said, wow, I really feel like we need to connect with our family now. Let's go visit and spend a couple of weeks. So a month and a half later, we went down, and 3 days later, we bought a condo.
Wow.
You know, we went away. But, you know, at the time, we're in Los Angeles. She was doing a TV series, just finished the series. And I thought, Hollywood's not for me, you know, all of that. So I was looking in small towns north. And so we found a place in Ventura. We were almost going to rent a house. We were so close for a year and see what it was like. And then we went to Costa Rica. And I said, I think this is the small town.
You kind of knew it.
We both, we left. We stayed for a week. We left. We came back and spent December and January together to see if it really resonated with us. And it did. And then we came back home. I got my truck, all my, you know, guitar, drums, art, painting stuff, put it in a container and sent it. And then I came here in March, beginning of March, and she went to New York to do a play that Sarah Silverman had written. And she was going to start production. And then I got here, she got there, and COVID came. Yeah. And we've been apart since. It was a place where she was who she was. You know, she's an American icon. Wherever we go, it's like, oh my God, you know, and oh, you.
Yeah.
So I thought, you know,
like I
don't want that in my life. You know, I like my anonymity. You know, I like going and not being bothered. So I thought, this is who I want to be. And so we started really exploring our independence in our own identity in that way. So ultimately it led up, you know, we've been in therapy about it. We've read books. We really talked and journeyed together. And it was, you know, a perfect timing when this happened, because we're separate and now we're exploring our individuality in that way. And now, you know, we're going to come back together. But for me, I just wanted to be a regular guy. So naturally I'm in town. I see homeless people. It's like, hey, you know, what's going on? And, oh, we need help. We need this. It's like, oh, okay, I can do that. And then it's like other people, I'd say, hey, I'm here. I got tools. I got talent. What can I do to help? And there was a plethora of opportunities, and I just started stepping up. And all of a sudden, you know, and some things I took the initiative, like fixing the road, because it was so dangerous.
So now you have a new title. What is it? Minister of Road Repair?
Minister of Potholes, yeah.
Potholes.
Road repair,
Something to look forward to. Hey, that's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, you know, just stepping back to a minute in terms of your marriage and your relationship, I think it's just such an amazing journey, as you said, that you guys are on together, and your mates and all the things that you've done.
We want to, you know, we both are evolving individually and together. And we've grown so much. I mean, I'm definitely not the guy she married. So, and she's not the woman that I married, which is great, because that's the whole idea. And that the work we've done together has really brought us to this place where actually 5 months apart, we can do this. But I did just book a plane ticket for Friday.
Yay!
So I'm coming.
Great.
Yeah. He kept trying to come, and they kept closing the border, and they kept canceling the flight. And finally I said, okay, look, I'll do it. I'll come.
Nice. Yeah.
I really didn't want to come to the States because there's in my region, there have been no cases.
So you're safe there in
it's a safer place to be, but you know, I want to be with my wife. So
yeah, that's great. That's great. Yeah. And it does, because if you are anybody but then who you are, then people don't really know you. But if you're yourself and they know you and they like you, then you know they really like you. They don't like this, you know, exterior that you put. Instead, they really like you. But that took a lot of courage to be yourself. And then I think once you get to be yourself, then you can't stop being yourself, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, then it gets exciting because you think all these years, you know, you try to, you know, hide things or put on a different face for people, and then you just go, you know, I went to a dinner party, 20 people, and it was for this couple getting married, and you know, this woman went 2 days making this meal and you know, and then the couple was late. She's like, oh my God, it's gonna go bad, it's gonna go bad. What should we do? And I said, I think we should eat.
Eat it.
You know, it's like, hey, look, they're late. You know, let's eat. And everybody was quiet. But she said, okay, let's eat. And during the meal, people are like, thanks for saying that. Thanks for saying that. It's like, yeah, just step up and say, wow, that hurt. Or, yes, I like that. Or, yeah, the meat was overcooked. You know, because
can you do it a different way next time?
Yeah, because someone says, do you think the meat was overcooked? It's like, well, yeah, but, you know, okay,
I still love you. It doesn't matter that the meat.
It doesn't mean you're a bad person.
Yeah, yeah. I remember my father.
Yeah, well, don't cook it so long next time.
Right, right. It's learning. I mean, we're all learning about each other. But my father, after my mom died, my father was dating this woman, and she made him some brownies, and she brought him over. And I know my father loves brownies, so I said to him, "Oh, you must have loved the brownies." He said, "Well, they're okay." And I said, "What do you mean, Dad? You love brownies? I've never known my dad to turn away a brownie." And he said they had nuts in them. And this was like the third or fourth time she had made them for him. And I said, did you tell her that you don't like walnuts in your brownies? And she said, oh, no, I wouldn't want to offend her. And I said, Dad, you better tell her, because if you wait 10 years and then tell her I didn't like the nuts in the brownies, like she would have said, why didn't you just tell me? I could have just taken the nuts out of the brownies, you know?
Yeah,
so,
as simple as that, right?
As simple as that. So he did tell her, and she made the brownies without the nuts. She was glad to know that she didn't need nuts in the brownies. And then, you know, true love blossomed, and they actually got married later. You know, you had to learn to say what you're thinking and feeling, and sometimes that's hard, but it gets easier. I think the more you do it, the easier it gets.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're helping these people.
Yeah, indeed.
So can you tell the winners out there, just give them some advice on sort of this can-do attitude that you developed? By the way, when I first met you, were you called can-do then? I can't remember. You've always had can-do. Yeah.
I had can-do on my van, remember?
Well, no, I remember that, but I thought that was after I met you. I didn't remember the can-do on the van. Anyway, you were definitely the can-do man. So can you just tell our listeners and our winners, how did you get to be that can-do in terms of, what would your guidance be to them if they're sort of looking around and trying to figure out what they can do, like some encouraging words on their own can-do-ness, their own win within?
Yeah, well, I think sometimes you grow up and you have exposure and experience, and then you get to a certain age and you go, okay, this is who I am, this is what I know. And someone might say, oh, can you draw? No, I can't draw. Can you paint? No, I can't paint. Did you ever try? No. Oh, okay. I became a painter at 39.
Wow.
So I played Picasso, and I thought, as an actor, I want to at least know how to hold a paintbrush.
Oh.
And I tried doing a Picasso, and you know, it came out really good. And my friend who was an artist said, wow, you can do this. So I just started painting as a hobby, and I probably sold 50 paintings. I've done 9 commissions.
Yeah, you did some beautiful work. I've seen some of your work, gorgeous. I've seen some of the portraits of Linda, and you're a wood sculptor as well. I remember you talking about letting the person, or you know, out of the wood. Yeah,
just emerge from. Yeah, it's like, you know, just start to cut and see what happens. But I guess the thing is that I didn't know. If someone were to ask me all my life, you know, can you paint? I'd say no. I mean, I might have said, well, I don't know, I've never tried, but. Yeah, I think what I hear, you know, people look at my page, like, oh my God, I could never do that. It's like, how do you know? It's like, oh, I just know. It's like, well, did you ever try it? No. And I think that's the thing. Like, sometimes we define ourselves at an early age thinking, I don't do this. Yeah. But I designed a building. I'm a high school dropout, and I designed a couple of buildings, actually. I remodeled the neighborhood, 6 homes. I built a theater. I don't know how to, I'm not an architect, but I think, okay, what would I like? And then I get the information, you know, I go to the library, I go to YouTube, and find out the things that I don't know to help me get to what I want to know, and then do it. And then surround myself with people who are smarter than myself, which is helpful. Yes. And they don't need to know that I don't know anything, but, you know, but I think, you know, I thought I could play the flute. I never played the flute. And I finally, years later, I found one at a thrift store. I bought it. I went on YouTube, took it home, learned how to put it together, started blowing, and it's like, wow, I can play the flute.
Amazing.
And I started taking some lessons, and so now I can play the flute, guitar, piano, drums. You know, I bought an accordion. You know, it's just I haven't attempted yet.
I want to hear that. You'll have to come back and play for us sometime.
Yeah, but I mean, once you know, like I said, 80 jobs, and at that point you go, okay, it's just a matter of, you know, like if you bake something, there's only so many things for ingredients. There's only so many things you have to do.
Yeah.
So find out what those things are and try it. I mean, you know, and don't expect a masterpiece every time or even the first time, but just go, oh, I think I'd like to do this, and then try it.
Yes, I think so.
There's nothing to lose. There's nothing to lose. No one's going to fault you. You know, if you fail at something you try, they're just going to go, wow, I admire you for trying.
Yes. I think the only person, you know, really that you have to fear is yourself, in that sense that you have to encourage yourself, because we're our own worst critics, right? I mean, we're the ones that usually, not always.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, my God, yeah. We're the worst.
Yeah. Let's be the best. Let's be the best. You're awesome.
Yeah.
You're awesome too.
Amen.
Okay. Well, I mean, this is totally awesome. So I just, you and I will continue chatting, but I just want to say to our listeners out there. So here's my dear friend, Steve Bakunas, the can-do man, who, as he just noted, was a high school dropout. He was sort of a runaway, right? I mean, maybe you told your mother you were leaving or something, but I mean, you basically got up and took off across the country, ended up in like Haight-Ashbury, probably, right, in that area in California.
Yeah, well, that's where my sister lived, so yeah.
Oh, here's one of Steve's carvings. Wow, look at that. That's amazing. Let's see. It almost looks like it looks like you, Steve.
I think they all kind of look like me a little bit, because I don't have a plan. I just start carving, and that's, you know, what comes out.
That one I just saw blink. Looked like it blinked.
Oh. And here's
wow. That is amazing. Wow.
See, and I didn't know I could do that.
He had no idea he could paint.
I had no idea.
Like, who are the Picassos and the Steve Winwoods, or, you know, the musicians? I'm thinking of like Steely Dan. What's the Steely Dan guy's name? You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, Donald Fagen.
Donald Fagen. Thank you, Donald Fagen. I mean, amazing. Who are the hidden ones out there? You, my winners. You go and do it. Do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. Just try it.
We're waiting.
Jump in.
Please.
We're waiting. Exactly. Unleash yourself. We do, because we're all creators. That's who we are at the heart of it. We're creators. So we need to create. We have this need to create. I mean, you should see me when I'm making my dad's breakfast in the morning, Steve. I'm like arranging the toast and like making a flower out of it with the things. I mean, you know, I just have this need to create, make things beautiful. So another painting on the wall back there too, behind your head.
Oh yeah, that's a woman. When we went to Paris, I took a picture of this woman.
Beautiful. Amazing. So here, an untrained painters, who are the hidden painters out there? Please paint and send us something. Oh, maybe finger painting. Look
this
at
is
that.
Costa Rica.
The sky out there is beautiful.
Yeah.
What fun.
Yeah.
Much love to you from California.
Oh, you too.
To Costa Rica. And I'll just wave the magic wand now, and we'll say goodbye to our winners, and then let's see what else we can chat about.
Bye, winners.
Bye, winners. Thanks for tuning in. We love you. See you soon. Mwah.
I'm at the end of the line. I'm whistling in the breeze. I do believe it's time for changes, honey, if you please. I spent my whole life believing tomorrow I would have my way. It's only me I'm deceiving, 'cause all I am is here today. Oh, sueño. I'm waking up inside my dream.